Disappointed about people that Thanks. Yeah. Hey guys, what you get? I'm good.
All right, write the questions for the players. How would watching it felt like a roller coaster? How would you kind of describe?
I think there was like a stretch there in the first half that felt like forever, and they were just banking in threes and hitting half quarters and stuff. So that was a tough stretch. But coming down at half the way they started the second half, for us to respond to that in that first 4 minutes, and I thought home was great in there. And everybody off the bench, everybody kept coming to the game with a ton of energy and making big plays. So proud of the way that everybody stepped up. I think that crowd got us over the line once we got the lead, and then we were able to hang on to the rest of the night.
Drew, one of the things that I keep seeing on social media, especially tonight, but other nights as well, is a lot of people are frustrated that you're only going to be here 1 year. Can you talk about how the fan base embraced you? And it seems like you're having a lot of fun.
I am having a lot of fun. I wish I didn't have 1 year left because I'm loving it here. I really am. All these guys know it. And the fans are something special. I've never been a part of it, so I'm just trying to take full advantage, and I just appreciate all the love.
Where do you get that energy?
These guys.
No, we get it from you.
But mostly it's just enjoying playing basketball. Like, I just love to compete. I love to be out there, and I think that my personality just shows by playing.
Is that you always like that? Like growing up, like having that type of energy?
Yeah, I just have like all the energy inside me, and if I can get it out, I'm gonna see how it comes out.
When we got through Thelwell, I looked him up on YouTube, and that's what I saw. So I was excited for it. All that energy.
Is that actually what you?
Yeah.
Like, what did you see when you looked
I mean, everything everybody's seeing now, I guess. Same stuff.
Hey, when you're seeing like Drew just hype something out, he's done it at a college too, but like, what goes through your mind?
I think it started that first game of the year when we were playing Commerce, and he got that dunk, and I was like, hey, he's here, like, we're ready to go. And that used to be my thing, but I think he's took it now. Because he actually looks at the crowd. I would just be like running down, going like this, but he like turns and he's into it. You pick the good times though. When it's a dead ball, yeah, that's true. You know what you're doing. Yeah.
On a kind of more of a macro note, I think for you guys, I know you were focused on one game at a time. It's way too early to talk about March, but this was your last real chance at a Power 4 non-conference win. Is that in the back of your heads? Obviously, a couple opportunities kind of slipped through the cracks. Are you at all thinking like sense of urgency coming in tonight?
I would say yes, but we try to take it one game at a time. We don't try to look over any opponent or whatever the case may be. But definitely we wanted to win this game for sure. We had it on our calendars to win. So yeah,
it's a big time win, and we play so many good teams in the league that you don't really look at it all that. I like that, like Coach always says, and like Drew just said, it's always one game at a time, but. They beat us last year. They kind of embarrassed us to end the year, and the way that we responded and came out with a sense of urgency and regained it was big time.
You talked with the crowd, and obviously there was a lot of electricity in that second half. So you guys are going back and forth.
I have to think about it. It's something special. I mean, you can feel the energy in the building, and I think like Payton kind of said, it just took us over the hump and just got us a win. So
these Sioux Falls fans are awesome. It's just like Moline, but like it was so loud in there when we were making our runs, and felt like every shot was like the biggest play in the game because it was so loud even in the first half. So shout out to everybody who came out. They're loud. This environment and the people that host this place are great. So thankful to be here. I was excited to come back. I came here my freshman year and did play well. So, but we got to win. But 2-0 in this building. So excited to be back. That was fun.
You guys went down by 11 early in the first half or second. What allowed you guys to respond to that?
They're a good team. Good teams make runs, and we know that. We just had to stick to our game plan. And a lot of the guys, we trust each other, and we knew he was going to take good care of himself.
You guys were 13. You two were 13 of 14 from the free throw line combined. I know you guys had some struggles at the line, so you two are kind of taking the lead, maybe trying to get everybody over that hump. How big is that to see that type of a number?
Yeah, that's big time. I think, especially like as the senior leaders of this team, that's what you want. And when we get in the bonus early, coach is always stressing, get to the foul line, keep driving to get fouls. And there's been some games this year where we've kind of started settling for threes, but we really started attacking downhill and down the stretch. Drew made all of them in clutch time.
I missed them.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, but that's what it takes to win close games like this.
Drew, this is just bigger picture question, but out of high school, what was your recruiting process like going, trying to play in college?
Out of high school, I honestly thought I was gonna end up Division two. It's like went to a small high school, and then I kind of grew a little bit. Got some athleticism, and then Division one started popping out, and then just started choosing where to stay. So now
Was it mostly like mid
Mid-majors.
Did you have any power conference offers?
I can remember now.
What was the halftime like? I know there was a run from Utah into that half. I know coach didn't look real happy going off the court with some of the defense. So what was the locker room like at halftime?
We're just telling each other we're fine. Again, they went on a run, but we knew with our game plan, like we knew certain guys we're gonna have to help off of, and we have to figure out who's gonna tag on the roll man. But we're fine. When our heads in that locker room, everybody's positive.
Yeah, I thought we made some great adjustments. It was, we were fired up. We were upset because felt like we should have been winning that game at half, but it's not about the halftime score. So made adjustments. Started driving the ball more, got the 3-point line, and I think over the chance again.
Drew, the next question, exclamation point, you dunked it, but it was after the buzzer, but what did you just kind of see on that?
I just wanted the crowd to know like there's something serious. I'm like other teams that they're watching, like we're serious and we want to win. That's just the energy we're always in the playoffs. So don't come to the playoffs. Just think, we're coming to play and everything.
All right, thank you guys. Let's go.
Thanks, Ed.
Hey.
Yes. Good holiday.
Happy holidays. Yeah, thanks.
All right,
See you guys.
so questions for coach.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Fran, Madsen brothers they're a tough duo, and obviously I'm sure they take some pride in the I-90 game growing up in Rochester. What's it like drawing up a game plan and having to coach against those two?
Well, they're both really good players. They're both versatile. Obviously, they can catch fire. I mean, Mason tonight was game last time we played them, but they're just gamers, and you can't relax for 1 second against them.
When Drew just has the energy, exudes it the way he does. Like, what as a coach, what goes through your mind when you see them?
Well, I mean, it's infectious. I mean, everybody else, goes with them. I mean, Brock's kind of that way as well. We got the veterans, with Josh. Owen was really on his way to a big time game. I felt bad when we got in foul trouble like that, but the energy in the building was phenomenal. Drew was right in the middle of that, and his defense and drawing 6 fouls. Those are stats that are critical to a team's ability. Get to the bonus, get to the double bonus. We do that by driving the ball and drawing fouls.
How do you shoot 66% from the field in the second half? What was the key to that efficiency?
Well, we were moving the ball and driving the ball. We settled too much in the first half. Like Payton said it, he's right. We were hit a couple early, and we start settling. And they don't have to play defense. They don't get tired. They come down and they want to carve you up. They run good stuff. So we kept the ball deep, kept moving the ball side to side, driving the ball, intelligent screening, back cuts. That was the difference in the game.
It still hasn't hit the new year. You guys have already been in 5 really close games. What can you take from this and kind of build it into?
Well, there's going to be a bunch more like that. That's what this league is. We know that. And you got to be able to figure out how to get home. Down 11, plenty of time, but still, it's in the second half. Get back to 1. Down 20-4 Michigan. Tie the game. All right, we don't win it. Northwestern, Josh, it's the big shot. Iowa State, we couldn't close. Played pretty well for 35 minutes. Couldn't close. But the thing I was proud of, like I told you at the time, we took good shots. It wasn't like we fell apart, turned it over. We fell apart, started jacking one-legged step backs. We moved. They got the same shots we were making all games. Didn't make them. They did. Give your opponent credit in that situation and move on to the next.
Is there a timeline for say who who's here today?
I would be surprised if he didn't play the next game.
What do you feel like allowed you guys to keep your composure down 11 early in the second?
Veteran guys. I mean, we got good players. We have good ball hands. Guys have been through it. Crowd was great. Combination of all those things, I think.
Lodgy and Price both seem like gave you a lift off the bench? What did you?
They're just rock solid, both of them. They all they care about is winning. You know, Price defensively was tremendous on the glass. You know, Logi, boy, was he great. And it's two big hoops. But then, you know, defensively on the glass, big time offensive rebound late, a couple of traffic rebounds. But just his awareness defensively was good.
Payton said you kind of realized Drew's energy when you looked him up on YouTube. But when was it first kind of evident to you? Like that's kind of the energy.
I mean, I wasn't really looking for that, to be honest with you. I was looking for a veteran point guard who could run a team, who could play off the ball and score, guard his man. I noticed immediately that this kid can play defense and wants to play defense, wants to play both ends, that he understands how to engineer victory. I mean, Drew Thelwell is a winner. That's what I was looking for. That's what we got. You know, the fact that his energy is infectious, that's an add-on bonus as far as I'm concerned. That kid cares about one thing, and that's engineering.
Fran, last question. 24 personal fouls called in the second half, 8 in the first. I know it's a really good officiating crew. Was that a difference of physicality? Maybe
No, like I said, it was, you know, jacking threes as opposed to driving the ball. You're not getting to the free throw line and shoot threes.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Fran.
Utah's coming in right now. Thanks, James.
Thank you, Jerry. Yes.
Go back on the games.
You done filming?
Yeah. Got the other team coming in though right now, actually. Welcome back. Oh, man. Good to see you too.
Can I sit on the side or in the middle? Does it matter?
Wherever you want.
James, you guys get, yeah.
Start with that. Say it from Coach. Questions. Well, first of all, we want to thank all the people at Sandfort and the people of Sioux Falls. It's a special place, and the people here just run a first-class operation in every way, shape, and form. The hospitality, the access to the facility, and it's a world-class venue. This facility is tremendous. Obviously, my time at University of South Dakota, we played up here every year except for maybe one. And all the years coming up here with my kids, playing in all the back gyms, like we had a shoot around today, and it was really cool. It's kind of a flashstone memory lane, and we had 4 amazing years in South Dakota. And then, of course, we played in MTE here when I was at Utah State. So it's a great place, unbelievable people, and it's a world-class venue. When we practiced here yesterday, got Gabe Madsen, who's kind of a throwback, and he's a Wisconsin, Minnesota guy, and he's like, Coach, this place is awesome. And so when players are saying that, and obviously the vibe in here, and of course it was about 98% black and yellow, as Wiz Khalifa would say. And we had our contingent, the Smith and Kushna family, and a few Vern people here as well. But it was so great to see so many familiar faces and just great friends. Terry's right here. It's a great place, and so excited that we were here. Obviously, wanted a different result. I thought it was a heck of a college basketball game. Off to it was a slow start. You have 2 high octane offenses out here playing, and that demonstrated itself over the long run, right? 95 to 88. They were a buzzsaw. I felt like they were I grew up an LA Laker fan. My dad was so disappointed because he loved the Celtics. But, I felt like we just played Iowa, right, a year ago. But it felt like today, the little analogy I like to use, Tim Miles, I was his assistant for 11 years. He would say certain teams like Iowa, they're like the Lakers of the 80s. in that second half, with the last 15 minutes, it felt like, they had magic out there to Worthy and to Kareem and everybody else. And so, but credit to them. Fran's a great man. He does a great job coaching. Our brands of basketball are very, very similar. We recruit in a very similar way in terms of the types of players we like. We've been very successful with it everywhere we've been. And so, but they just made a few more plays, they're probably a little more battle tested, quite frankly, right? Made the last second shot to beat Northwestern, really dogfight against Michigan. Iowa State, they had on the ropes the whole way. And so you go through that process, and they just made a few more plays than us. We just couldn't get a stop at the end of the day. I mean, it's hard to win. I mean, we shoot 51.5%. I mean, I've been doing this, in my 14th year. I don't know that that's happened 5 times where you shoot 51%, lose a game. Our teams are usually pretty damn good defensively. We have been good defensively, but they did a good job. Just got to the paint, got fouled. We defended the 3 as a whole pretty well. I think we scored 59 points and only made 3 threes in the second half. Of course, we went zone for 2 possessions, and when they do, bang, 2 threes. And it seems like that always happens when you're just trying to change it up. But credit to them. They made a few more plays. I thought we did some really good things tonight and gave ourselves an opportunity to win in a hostile environment. But we just, a couple possessions here or there, and that's the difference in the game. So credit to them for doing that. And then we had a hard time in transition. We played them. Of course, we're a different team. They're a different team than a year ago in the NIT. Helped that we were at home. But we did an unbelievable job keeping them out of transition last year. And one of the things we told our guys is what's going to surprise you where we got hurt in transition a year ago with them in the NIT was on made shots, right? And so it's natural sometimes when you make a shot to kind of relax for a second or 2, 3. And you cannot relax against these guys because they are so good. We're really good at transition off of misses. They're really good at misses and mades. And you could just see that we were spread out, not pointing and talking, not getting matched up. We have a play where Miro in transition hits Zach Keller, get a layup. We're kind of beating our chest. They come down, boom, outlet, boom, hit Dix, right? Hard right-hand drive. We help, hit Freeman, and what? Crowd goes wild. There's no such thing as a perfect game, but you have to work to eliminate losing. And so this was a good experience for us to go to. We had a great opportunity to get a quad 1 win, but we didn't get it done. And got a lot of season left, and so we're looking forward to Big 12 play.
Coach, good questions. The Madsen boys, they kind of take this game personally, given the I-90 connection. I mean, I know this, you mentioned the Iowa dominant crowd, but I'm sure this game meant a little something more to them.
Well, and I thought they had a great showing here as well. I mean, obviously, all of their family. I met Grandpa and Grandma last night at the hotel. I'm still a little PO'd. They did let me play cards with them. But they'll live and learn. But no, it was. I mean, listen, I'm from Minnesota. I've worked, obviously, in the Dakotas for the majority of my career. I've been in Utah now, in the state of Utah for 6 years. This is year 7. And so a lot of similarities in some respects, but we're always going to recruit in this area. We offered Josh Dix a scholarship. And so, but for the Madsens, it was special, certainly. I think that's tonight, was the first time those two started a Division I game together. They come from a great family, and they're great kids. They're really good players. Mason was really, really good tonight. Not that the game was bad, but they did, credit to Iowa. They made it really, really difficult on Gabe. And Gabe's, he's a targeted guy. Coming into tonight, I think he's the leading scorer in the Big 12. He's had a great season up to this point, a heck of a career. He's going to have a chance to break the all-time record for made threes at the University of Utah. He's right on track for that. And here's a guy that came to us, he opted out at Cincinnati, and we recruited both those kids at Utah State, and came to us as a skinny little, those guys get 5 years, and just to see his progression when he was just a shooter, coming in, he was skinny little, and he's just, that guy's relentless. He's in the gym from 8 to 9 every morning. And Mason is now, now that he's here with us, but Gabe's done this for 4 years, dedicated to the weight room, absolutely loves basketball. This guy is what it's all about in every way. So certainly coming back here to play in front of all their families and friends, when you go away from home. That's not always right. It's just you get in front of your mom and dad sometimes, but it's hard for everybody to get there. Tonight, I think they had everybody, and so it's really cool for them. That's part of the reason. Part of the reason we wanted to play this game. I do believe in trying to get games back where you have guys from. You can't always do it, but you try to do it. But really, to play a quad one game and in this venue, right, with this hospitality, I thought it was too good to pass up. But I think it was really cool for those guys.
Obviously, the rosters aren't exactly similar, but you're one of the few teams who've seen Iowa twice in this
Yeah.
span. What maybe was different
Yeah.
this time around than watching them last time?
Well, they're definitely a different team. We're different. We're probably more different because we have a lot more new players. They're different, especially. I think it was after the Michigan game. They used to start number 13, and they used to start him and Freeman together, and obviously they made the change to basically play 4 guards. And that's hard. That can be hard to do. And credit to them. Like Sandfort's. He's obviously a very good player. Went through the wrist injury, and you could tell he's really starting to cook. He stuck the first one and hit a 26-footer, probably a 25-footer. That's what he does. I mean, he's elite at it. We kept him in check at home last year. He had 5 points. He had a made 2-pointer, and we fouled him on a 3. And so obviously he took that very personal, and he was super aggressive tonight. But you can play 4 guards, and you got a guy like him that's very tough. He does a good job defending in the post, using his strength that way. It gives him a lot of versatility. They just put a lot of pressure on you. And then you can see the improvement, like they probably can see with some of our returners. Levering is way better than he was a year ago. Hunter Erickson's way better than he was a year ago. Gabe is better than he was a year ago. So there's some real improvement with the guys that have stayed in the program, and I think that's a common theme with Iowa's program and our program. We're huge in the skill development piece. Guys get better when they stick it out. Dixon, I've always thought he's a really good player, and they certainly put the ball in his hands late in the game because that's what he does. But you can see marketable improvement out of Harding, right? And he had a pretty good game against us, not scoring, but you can tell like this kid's going to be good. He's got moxie, toughness, and he plays kind of like Steve Nash, right? He does. He gets in there and he's Nash dribbling, and he's probing, and he's waiting for you to make a mistake by overhelping. And so you got to be super, super disciplined and stay home. And I thought we did a good job with that tonight and last year. But they just started, making plays off the bounce, and we really didn't have an answer for it. So anyway, so that some of these guys have really taken the next step and moved forward.
You guys got off to the slow start. You're down 8, I think 12 points in the first 10 minutes, 28 points in the last 10 minutes of the first half. And now you look at the final score and you're like, is that slow start sort of to blame here? I know the defense could have been better, and you don't want to give up 66% from the field in the second half.
I mean, it's easy to say that. I obviously I wish we would have got off to a better start. I thought maybe it was certainly felt like a road environment, and that's good for us. We haven't played well when we played Mississippi State. It was neutral, but it wasn't neutral. So we've had a couple of these. But what I loved about it is we stuck to it. Like I said in the first media timeout, I think it was 7-2 maybe. And I was like, guys, it's a miracle we're only down 5, right? Like, and that's the truth. And our guys just hung in there, hung tough. But we have spurt ability. Just like Iowa has real spurt ability, we have spurt ability. So Mason started feeling it. I think he made 3 baskets in a row. And then that stuff starts getting contagious. And sometimes, I'm a little old school with some things, but at the same time, I'm also realistic. Sometimes when the ball starts going into the hole, your defense gets better, right? Because it gives you a little bit of energy. And then sometimes the ball starts going in the hole, and when scoring becomes easy, and there was a stretch there, we were scoring at a really high clip. And sometimes you tend to relax a little bit on that end of the floor. And so I wouldn't say that. I just think we, credit to Iowa first and foremost, like I said. But we had to be able to tighten up some things. I didn't think we guarded personnel, meaning every player, we have like a scouting report on individual players. I'm not sure we did the best job that we needed to do following that, if that makes sense. And so it's got to get better in that respect.
Just curious, when you're recruiting Josh, just what stood out?
Well, we recruited him, and then it ended pretty quick because I think Iowa went all in, and he committed pretty fast, then, you know, that can happen a lot, no matter where you're at. Utah, you know, Utah kids really like to stay home. I think a lot of Midwest kids have so many options, you know, and so he's a great kid, super, super respectful. But when you watch him play, he's a good player. Like, I just think he's under maybe, I don't want to say valued, meaning like he just does everything. I mean, tonight again, super efficient, 7 for 10. I think he was from the field, 15 points, 4 assists, 2 steals. He's so long. A really good pull-up game. You know, in the day and age of analytics, like we're involved with analytics to some extent. You know, I'm sure Fran is to some extent, but not really. I mean, he's so elite with his pull-up, whether it's from the 3 or, you know, off the pick and roll, and with his size and how to release. He just does a little bit of everything, but he just has that demeanor where it's like nothing really bothers. It just seems like he's never battled. You know, he's just, and then the other thing that people won't talk about is he almost always guards the other team's best player. And so he plays both ends of the floor. And usually when you have guys that play both ends of the floor, your team's gonna be pretty good.
8 personal fouls called total in the first half, 24 the second. I know Coach McCaffery talked about just a concerted effort to getting the ball to the rim, which you guys did in the second half as well.
Yeah.
But would you say that's the primary difference with physicality in that second half, was just because guys were attacking the rim more?
I mean, probably it got pretty heated in there for about a 3-minute stretch. And so sometimes when that happens too, officials are going to call, you know, a few more things. But I thought it was a well-officiated game. You know, they're always going to miss some. I mean, they miss some on us. They miss some on them. That's how it goes that way. But they did a good job. Just it was very clear in the second half they were, you know, attacking in attack mode almost the whole half.
And it seemed like one thing that I was really struggled with in some of their bigger games has been rebounding. You guys were +8 in the first half. Obviously, if a team shoots 66%, you're going to be hard pressed to get rebounds because there's not rebounds to be had. But then Iowa cleaned up free throw shooting as well. I'm sure those were a couple of things that stood out on tape when you were scouting Iowa. Is that just
that was the difference in a lot of their losses is teams really hurt them on the offensive glass. And so, but I mean, you're right. I mean, we shoot 65 to 66% in the second half and get outscored by 10. At the end of the day, we lose by 7. They make 7 more free throws than us, you know, and they shoot 8 more than us. And that is what it is. You know, they were the aggressor that way. And usually our teams are really good about defending hard without fouling, right? With physicality and really owning the paint. I mean, it's amazing. Look at that. We scored 56 points in the paint and lose, right? But we gave up 50. Like, I'm not sure I've ever seen a box score like that, 56 to 50 in the paint, right? But that's how it was. Like, you just, when you have 2 offensive teams like that, or 2 teams like this that can really score the ball, you know, it's amazing what happens. So they're going to have a great year. And I'm really excited about our team. I think we're going to have a great year. We've been through a lot this year with some injuries early. So we've had to kind of keep redefining ourselves. I thought we really made some great strides the last 10 days or so. And so there's a lot of season left, but it's hard. You know, we're 8-3 and the 3 losses. I mean, we're probably 6 possessions away from being 11-0. And so you got to find a way to win those games, but I'm proud of our group. And now we head into Christmas break. We'll enjoy 4 days off. We have a great group of young men and they're competitive, and we'll come back and have 4 good practices and head to Baylor.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, appreciate it.
Safe travels home.
Thank you.